Well, hello. I wanted to take a few minutes and show you the project tagging functionality. I think that this will address a lot of the things that you may have been keeping track of offline, maybe in Google spreadsheet or on your own Excel spreadsheet or even on paper. You sometimes want to indicate certain aspects of a project. So we've added project tagging, which I think will address a lot of those things. So I want to take you through a couple of scenarios as to how we can use tagging in our projects. Let's think about project phases. Now, we currently track whether the project is closed or not in terms of a status, but you may want to keep track of certain project phases. And in order to do that, uh, we can use a tag or a group of tags to do things like that. Let's say for boundaries, subdivisions, ALTA surveys, and topos, we wanted to create a phase that we could assign to projects so that we can keep track of exactly where we are in that particular project. So that's what we're going to do with this video. We're going to do that, as well as I'll show you how to set up some tags maybe for delayed projects to be able to keep track of them as well. So the first thing we'll do from the dashboard, all we need to do is go to settings, and then over on tags, we'll start off with a blank slate. Now, what you should see if you have not created any tags is the default category, which is selected here on the left, and on the right hand side you'll see that we don't have any tags for this particular category. Now, you can use the default category and never create any other categories. That's perfectly fine to do that. Default category I would probably use for one-off tags where the tags aren't related to each other, but you want to tag a project for whatever reason. Feel free to just choose add new tag, create the tag, and assign it to this default category. But what we're going to do in this first example is I'm going to create a category called phase. Specifically, I'm going to do a phase for this particular project group, a task group. So let's start off with clicking new category. I'm going to call this, because I'm talking about boundaries, subdivisions, altas, etc. I'm going to name this BSAT phase. And I'm going to assign a nice color to this. I'll assign this purple here. And do I want to allow multiple? Now, because this is a phase, I don't want to allow multiple because the project can only be in one phase at a time. So I'm going to choose not to allow multiple. And then by choosing this prefix name, what will happen is every time I see a tag, it will have this as a prefix to that particular tag that I'm seeing. So the category name will be prefixed in front of the tag, and I would like to have that. So I'm going to go ahead and create that tag. Once I create the tag, it'll be available for me here in the list. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to start adding categories. Now, there are maybe a dozen different phases that this could be in. I'm just going to grab a few of them and add this so you can understand how to use tags for project phases. So I'm going to start with creating one called just setup. I'll create that tag. You'll see that available here in my list. I'll create some more tags here. I'm going to call this legal research. I'll create that. Let's next add some the CAD tech to process the points. So we'll say CAD tech points. Let's see, what else do we want to add here. Let's do the CAD tech drafting. And of course, there are other stages. I'm going to just jump ahead a little bit. And let's just say at the end, we've got a couple of things we want to do. We want to plot and sign originals. And then finally, deliver to client. Okay, now I've got these. Now you can add as many tags as you want per category. I'm just going to show you these for this example. If you've added something and you need to change it, of course, you can always edit that. As well as, let's say that I had typed these in and they weren't in the right order. I can always just grab this little handle here and drag it up, and then that will reorder the tags. But I did have them in the right order, so let me just drag it back. So this is the order that I want to use these in. Now that I've got these created, I'm going to go over to a project, and I'm going to assign these to a project. So if I go here, I'm going to just choose this first one, and I'm going to go in and edit it. Let me remove these, and then let me go here and choose BSAT. That's my phase. Let me close that out. Again, let me show you. This is on the project detail page, a project edit. I can go to tags. I'm going to choose BSAT phase. I'm just getting ready to get started, so I'm going to attach the setup phase. So if I save that, now that phase is associated with this project. Now that I've got that phase assigned, I can go back over to my project list, and let's say that I want to see all of my projects that are in that current phase. Then on my filter section here, I can choose tag, choose BSAT, and I'm going to choose setup. Now that I've got that assigned, I'm going to apply, and now that you can see just at the bottom here, we can see that one project that I just added that status to. Okay, let's go back in, and let's say that now we're ready to move on to the next phase. If I just hit the plus button here and I choose BSAT phase, now remember, I'm not allowing multiples here, so when I go and choose legal research, you'll notice that it will remove that old tag, the setup tag, and it adds the legal research. So if I update it, I go back to my project list, you'll notice now, because I'm still filtering on this status, I've got no projects down here for that status. If I remove it, rerun, this is everything. I can always add that tag back, BSAT and legal. Apply that, and now I can see, looks like some other test data I had assigned that status already. But you can see here that we've got only the projects that have that particular status assigned. So that's one of the ways that you can use tags. Tags are really versatile. So using a tag like this that doesn't allow multiple, it's nice so you can assign one particular phase at a time. All right, that's one example. Let me show you another one. I'm going to go back over to settings and tags, and let's say that I want to have a category that's related to delayed projects. So I'm going to choose new category. I'm going to choose delayed. I do want to allow multiple because it could be delayed based on the client. It could be a subcontractor, and I want to keep track of all of that. I'm going to allow multiples on this, and I'm going to also prefix, and on the color here, I'm going to choose something like a red color to bring it to my attention when I'm searching and looking at projects. So I'm going to create that tag. You'll see now that I've got under categories, I've got a delayed tag. I'm going to choose that, and then I'm just going to add this. It could be delayed because of the client. It could be delayed because of a subcontractor. Or it could be delayed just for internal reasons that I want to keep track of. So if I create that, now under delayed, I've got these three tags available to me. Going back over to my projects, I'm going to reset my filters here. And then I'm going to go down to the second one, and then under the second project I'm going to say, okay, this one is currently delayed because of the client. I'm going to update that, and then of course on my filter here I've got two options. I always have two options when filtering. Because of the nature of a delay, it's usually a problem. I may not want to choose a delayed here and attach all of these. I can even just attach, if I do want to attach by the client, I could do it here. So let's just go ahead and say it's based on the client, and I've attached that. When I run it, okay, now I can see that particular project that's the delayed because of the client. All right, let me reset that. And I'm going to go back down and add under this third project here, I'm going to add another tag and say this one happens to be delayed because of a subcontractor. I'll update that. And then when I go back over to my list, now if I'm managing projects and I want to look at any potential problems, I may not want to just choose each individual one. I want to see anything's delayed. So if I want to do that, I can just choose the delayed category here on the left, choose apply, and that's going to look for any delayed project regardless of the tags that are associated with it. So now I've chosen the delayed category. I'll apply that, and now I can see those two projects. One of them is delayed because of the client. One of them's delayed because of the subcontractor. So this shows you the power of using tags, not only for, of course, tagging the individual project, but when it comes to filtering, you can always go back and look at those projects based on the any type of filter that you want to use on those tags. I hope that you found that helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to us.